Welcome to Brain Vision.
In this question, we have this standing wave, and we want to figure out what is the amplitude and speed of the two waves whose superposition gives this standing wave. Then there are a couple other things we want to figure out, like what is the distance between nodes, and distance between nodes is like just what is a wavelength is what it's asking, and then finally what is the transverse speed of a particle at a certain position of the wave. Let's first at part A and B, what is amplitude and what is speed. So when we have two waves together, if we have sine kx plus omega t and ym sine kx minus omega t, their solution will become 2 times ym cosine kx cosine omega t. So that is when we have a wave. So in this case, when we say what is the amplitude of individual wave, the individual wave will half individual waves is y, and right now we have 0.5 centimeter is this is 2. So the y of 0.5 centimeter, which is 0.25 centimeter. That's what is the speed. We look at this form, this y prime m. So this is 2ym sine k. So this is k sine omega t. So this is omega. So we have both k and omega. And if we have both k and omega, we can find what the speed is, because speed v equals omega over t. And omega is 40 pi per second. Omega over k. K is pi over 3 centimeter. So velocity is 1.2 times 10 to the second centimeter per second. Part C asks us the distance between each node, and if we look at the distance between each node is a wavelength, so it's asking what half of the wavelength. So x equals wavelength over, and how do wavelengths? We know that k equals 2 pi over lambda. So lambda equals 2 pi over k. Here we already k, so we can read out what it is. So lambda over is pi over k, which is pi over 3 per centimeter, which is 3 centimeters. Okay, finally part D says what is the maximum of a certain point. Well, when we need to find a speed, what we're doing is we will be taking the derivative of y prime. So we will use u equals dy dt. Alright, and dy dt gives us negative, if we at this equation, it gives us cosine becomes negative sine, so negative 2ym omega times sine kx times sine omega t. So that is the speed at a certain x at a certain t. And if we need to figure out what is the speed at, the question says x equals 1.5 meter and t equals 9 over 8 seconds. So then we can just plug in. We have u equals negative 2, negative 2 is 0.5, so negative 0.5 centimeter times 40 pi times sine pi over 3 times equals 1.5 centimeter times sine omega 40 pi times t is 9 over 8 second. The units kind of cancel here, so I didn't include the units. And we will see that here, and we have one, it's half of pi, what we get is 45 pi. Right, here's the thing. What is sine for pi? Sine looks like this, 0, pi, 2 pi. So in any multiples of 0, so the speed is 0. What that means is that this given point is actually, it's a knot.